The poll Bugle viewers has been sounded in battleground Uttar Pradesh right ahead of the big assembly elections. With close to just 5 months left for the polls, netas including AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi, BSP Supremo Mayawati have hit the campaign trail. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath restricted himself to meeting citizens. Here's the report.
The battle lines are being drawn.
मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ ने अपने खिलाफ एक केस को विड्रॉ कर लिया और 2007 का जो गोरखपुर का केस उनके खिलाफ था, मुख्यमंत्री ने कहा कि इसकी प्रोसिक्यूशन की मैं इजाजत नहीं देता।
सन 2007 की तरह अपनी पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार बनाने से कोई भी ताकत रोक नहीं सकती है।
Top leaders are setting the tempo. More than 5 months to go, but netas are getting ready for the biggest assembly fight. Lucknow on Tuesday witnessed a full-fledged political face-off as CM Yogi Adityanath, BSP Supremo Mayawati and AIMIM Chief Asaduddin Owaisi were all in the city. What followed next were a series of scathing political attacks.
अगर किसी के साथ इंसाफ नहीं हुआ, किसी को उनका हिस्सा नहीं मिला, तो मैं ये साफ तौर पर कह रहा हूं कि उत्तर प्रदेश के मुसलमान हैं कि आपने पिछले 60 साल से सेकुलरिज्म के झूठे वादे पर आपने मुख्तलिफ पार्टियों को वोट किया। उत्तर प्रदेश की जेलों में सबसे ज्यादा अगर दलित भाइयों के साथ अगर कोई अंडर ट्रायल है तो मुसलमान है। इसका जिम्मेदार कौन है? इसका जिम्मेदार किसी हद तक हमको भी अपने गिरबान में झांक कर देखना है।
Owaisi even raked up the issue of changing the name of Faizabad to Ayodhya.
इनको नाम फैजाबाद से इतनी जलन क्यों है?
Meanwhile, CM Yogi Adityanath did not get drawn into the political fire play. Instead, he launched a scheme to eradicate malnutrition in Lucknow. For now, the Chief Minister is saving his energy to meet people to stress on the development work his government has initiated. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, viewers, let's break it down. So, 5 months from now, the assembly elections in UP. But let's just hark back to 2017 on what it looked like in assembly elections 2017. Out of the 403 seats, viewers, BJP had 312, the Congress were at 7, the Samajwadi Party 47 and the BSP got 9. 2017, it was pretty much a sweep by the Bharatiya Janata Party. I'm going to take you right now to 2019, the big general elections. 80 seats were up for grabs, out of which again BJP swept, got 62, the BSP was at 10, the Congress just 1, the Samajwadi Party just 5 and others stood at 2. This time around, viewers, what are going to be the biggest key issues when it comes down to elections 2022? Many call it a tectonic elections. Well, you know, we've just sat down, we've culled through lots of data and we've come to 5 points that pretty much could be the decider in elections 2022, 5 months from now. Number 1, the management of COVID-19. Uttar Pradesh, especially in the second wave, pretty much crumbled under COVID-19. There was a lot of unrest. Will it still sustain or will people be kinder? So on the other front, of course, the UP government says they've done a fine job. COVID-19 could be one of the main issues, and one of the biggest issues which could resound in the state of Uttar Pradesh is Ram Lalla. Now, the Ram temple in Ayodhya is being built. Will that be a huge factor? Where religion is concerned in Uttar Pradesh, it's always found traction. Number 3, viewers, the farm protest, especially in the sugarcane, the western Uttar Pradesh belt. Till now, the western UP belt has always voted on communal lines, especially the Muzaffarnagar area after the riots. Will now what the farmers say is a catharsis of rural dissent. Will it tide over the communal divide of western UP and come together as anti-incumbency against the government? We don't quite know, but it could very well play a factor. Number 4, anti-incumbency. Is there anti-incumbency against Yogi Adityanath? Well, on the other hand, there are a lot who are rather happy with Yogi Adityanath and want to give him another chance. And last but not the least, because this is the fulcrum on which rests polls of practically every state, and that, viewers, is the caste metric. Will the caste dynamics finally decide the fate of Uttar Pradesh, which could pretty much set the tone for the big one, election 2024? So those are the 5 factors. We're going to take it to our guests through the course of the next 20 minutes. The big questions that we are asking after 2 political outfits sounded the poll bugle today, viewers. The big questions this evening. Will UP polls be the semi-finals to 2024? Uttar Pradesh polls deciding factor, COVID, farm protest, Ram Mandir. And lastly, will UP polls outcome rest on the caste metric, which has in many, many elections? I want to cut across to our guests. I have Waris Pathan, AIMIM spokesperson. I have Guru Prakash Paswan, Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson. Juhi Singh, Samajwadi Party spokesperson. And Manisha Prem joins me in the capacity of a political analyst. Waris Pathan, I'd like to begin with you because your leader today, Asaduddin Owaisi, started his campaign from Ayodhya, who he chose to call Faizabad, but that's not the debate. The debate, Waris Pathan, is what makes you so sure? 2017, you fought on 38 seats, and if I'm not wrong, you lost your deposit on 37 seats. The number of seats that you had were a little bit over 2,000.
Well, our party president Asaduddin Owaisi Saab has visited UP earlier also, but today we have started Shoshit Vanchit Samaj Sammelan. Today he was in Faizabad, Rudoli. Tomorrow he will be in Sultanpur, and on 9th he will be visiting Barabanki. We are going there to meet peoples. We are going in UP with a clear mind that we want to contest the elections. Our party president also said we might be contesting on 100, or we are preparing for 100, but we might contest for more than 100 as well. Now your question is simple: what happened? Why we lost so much seats earlier? Yeah, but that time our cadre was not that strong. But in the last few years, our party president from UP, Shaukat Ali Saab, has worked really hard, and we have a very strong cadre. And we are confident that this time we will be able to defeat the BJP, and we will see to it that Yogi is not made the CM of Uttar Pradesh.
Waris Pathan, tell me something. Tell me something.
Just give me 10 seconds.
Sir, go ahead.
See, there is an incumbency factor which is against Yogi. What we've seen in the COVID-2 wave, corpses floating at the river Ganga Ghat. Dogs were eating the corpses. Who is responsible for that? The Yogi government. Who is responsible for the lakhs of youth who have lost their job? The Yogi government. And I'll ask a simple question to the BJP spokesperson who is there on your channel. What has Yogi done in the last 7 years? Kindly give me a data of that. You will be surprised that no major work has been done by Yogi except naming, renaming, increase in the crimes.
Before I go across to our other guest, we do have Guru Prakash right now, but before I go across to our other guest, I want to ask you one quick question. You know, if you say, your leader says, Asaduddin Owaisi says that you're the face of secular parties, then why not align with the so-called secular parties in Uttar Pradesh? And why look at forging alliances with small party alliances like Rajbar's party? Why?
Well, we have made our intention very clear. Whosoever wants to come with us, defeat the BJP, come with us. We will not go and beg to them with a begging ball and ask, please come with us, come with us. Come, let's join hands together. Let's
Sir, what do you put on the table? You put 37 seats, lost deposit from 2017. But I'll come back to you. What is it that you put on the table that people want to come and join you? In 2017, you lost your deposit on 37.
Well, BJP were also two.
Well,
once
fair
BJP
enough.
were also two, today they are ruling.
Nobody can stop you.
So things can change, time can change, and the people's mandate is with us.
In politics, anything is possible. You're right, sir.
Because in politics, he has got a vision for Uttar Pradesh.
All right.
People will definitely vote for us.
In politics, anything is possible. But I want to cut across right now to Guru Prakash Paswan. Guru Prakash, the fact is today is not just AIMIM, which hit the campaign trail. So did Mayawati. And what was interesting is that she started her campaign for Uttar Pradesh appealing directly to the Brahmin vote, which has been yours. And can you take that for granted right now? Because she's known, where social engineering, getting Brahmins on her side, she's known to do that.
Preeti, that has been one of the biggest travesty of the politics of Uttar Pradesh, there is a political party that is talking about one caste. The previous panelists from AIMIM, and they have made their intentions clear that they speak only on behalf of one community. No political party, no political institution, they have ever bothered, concerned to speak about all of the Uttar Pradesh, more than 20 crore people of Uttar Pradesh. What we intend to do now, what we have done in the last 4 years in the state and last 7 years in the central government. I can give you data on different development. One district, one product. The number of government jobs. In the 4 years of Samajwadi government, 2 lakh. In the 4 years of Yogi government, more than 4 lakhs. How many medical colleges were there? In the last 70 years, only 12. In the last 4 years, 30 medical colleges. Be it infrastructure. So on the one hand, when the Bharatiya Janata Party, when the Yogi Adityanath government, when we are diverting the topic, we are focusing on development. We are focusing on empowerment of the marginalized. We are focusing on the representation of the unrepresented. You see the number of cabinet ministers coming from the scheduled caste, coming from the scheduled tribes, coming from the OBC, the women members from the state of Uttar Pradesh in the central cabinet, in the state government. So we are talking about development and the representation of the marginalized. And the other political outfits, they are only and only specifically talking about one caste, one community, and at some instance, one family only. Samajwadi Party. I remember that there was a moment 20 years ago when Mulayam Singh Yadav ji was called Dharti Putra. Now his only putra is Mr. Akhilesh Yadav. The only focus of Samajwadi Party, one family. The only focus of Bahujan Samaj Party, one caste. The only focus of AIMIM, one community. Om Prakash Rajbhar ji's name was taken, just 10 seconds Preeti. Om Prakash Rajbhar ji's name was taken, Suhail Dev Bharatiya Samaj Party. Raja Suhail Dev's monument was created by the central government. No one was speaking about Raja Suhail Dev. The central government, the BJP government was talking about Raja Suhail Dev. Now you make a political party, you try to take political leverage out of it. People are no longer fools. You cannot fool the people. The people of UP, they are aspirational. They want to work. And the double engine government in the Uttar Pradesh and the central government. Mr. Waris Patan also mentioned about one thing, and that's so unfortunate, Preeti, that these people cannot complete a sentence without death. Mr. Craig Kelly is not a member of BJP. Mr. Craig Kelly is a member of parliament from Australia, and your media, India Today, has written a detailed report on it, on how Mr. Kelly, who is an Australian MP, said that if Mr. Yogi Adityanath can come and help us manage the pandemic in Australia.
But Mr. Prakash, ultimately it's the voter. Sir, ultimately the voter will decide whether COVID was managed or mismanaged. It's not about any MP living in any other country. The voter of Uttar Pradesh is the one which will put the seal of approval or disapproval on that. But, Juhi Singh, the fact is, one thing that your party does realize is you cannot no longer stick to the Yadav Muslim vote bank. And what is interesting, madam, and I'll just go, it was just research and I got it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Juhi Singh. 1989, you went into elections with Tilak, Tarazu aur Talwar, Inko Maro, Jute Char. 2007, you are Hathi Nahi Ganesh hai, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh hai.
Preeti, I don't think these slogans were ours, but I agree with you that the reality check of politics changing, we've already taken into account. 2012, when we came into power, made a government, then we actually took away many seats with the Bharatiya Janata Party thought that was their personal repository of faith of the urban people. We were known as a party of rural areas. We came to Lucknow, we came to Allahabad, we came to Varanasi. And yes, Mr. Guru Prakash has mentioned issues, and the issues which you have mentioned are going to play a very important role. The governance, or the misgovernance, I would say, of Yogi Adityanath, we have worked, and we have a body of work to show. Most of the medical colleges which are being mentioned shamelessly by the BJP were started by us, and most of them were completed by us. There's a polytechnic, by the way, in Pachrawa, which has also been standing unopened for the past 4 years. Change the color if you want to, plus open it. It was made for girls. There's the IT city, there is Amur, there is a stadium, there's the expressway, there's the cancer hospital, there are medical colleges, and the bizarre thing was Yogi Adityanath was launching some sort of a nutrition month, and he demolished the nutrition mission which we had set checkup and we were weighing children. We were giving certain special aids to malnutrition mothers because that was the issue we recognized 4 years back. And if you would look at the records, why just take away something from a previous government? Carry it forward. That's what the mandate is for. Yes, you won 2017. You have a double engine or triple engine Sarkar. And children are dying in Firozabad. More than 100 dead. 2 children have just died in Sitapur. Mention them. What happened to your basic health services?
Okay.
They were meant to be strengthened after Corona.
Like I said,
ambulances are not available. Yeah.
But Juhi Singh, ultimately, you and I can go on talking about whether or not what the government did till kingdom come, it's going to be the voter who will decide whether or not there was mismanagement or not. I want to bring in Manisha Prem as our political analyst. Manisha, Ms. Prem, I want you to focus on just 2 issues, 2 developments, because there will be multiple ones which will happen through the course of the next few months, which is what happened today. Number 1, AIMIM launching their campaign from Ayodhya. They chose to call it Faizabad. Number 2, Mayawati making her political pitch, starting with appealing to the Brahmins.
So it tells you that, we are beginning with a game of opposites. The AIMIM has started its campaign in a place where it wants to now heighten the frenzy of a particular community that feels that, this land was theirs and the old structure was theirs, and that, this is a new structure which belongs to the majority community in India. So the AIMIM pitch, however much they keep on talking development, if you launch your campaign in Ayodhya or in Faizabad, whatever you want to call it, it's quite clear that the pitch is completely communitarian. Right. And that's the tilt that the AIMIM wants to give it. The flip side of this is that if it polarizes enough, it advantages the majority community. If a communitarian pitch is taken from the word go, it will always be advantage the majority community and disadvantage those who have lesser numbers. Now, it is also doing something else, which is that the traditional alliances of the large minority community in Uttar Pradesh with either the BSP or the Samajwadi Party. The Samajwadi Party is where these alliances have been very strong, especially on the Ayodhya plank. And the AIMIM will now try to compete with the Samajwadi Party to break this alliance. So in this difficult multiple equation, you can see where it is going to go, advantage whom, disadvantage whom. And the pitch will be changed by them. They will not win or lose votes, only playing for the pitch. Now, the bigger issue is, as you can see very much, that in both sides, if there were 2, not 3 Uttar Pradeshes, you will see that for various reasons, the voter is now thinking about economic issues. These are not simple straitjacket developmentalism. The farmers are bringing out issues. They are not playing the community pitch. On the other side, the development pitch, I have started my field work in areas of Varanasi, and I can tell you, pitch debates are going on about Mehngai, the cylinder refilling, the COVID. Pitch debates, people have not made up their mind. There is
we'll come back to it. Ms. Prem, I'm going to come back to the issues which will govern this election, but I want to go back to Mr. Varis Pathan. I want to ask you, sir, it's often said in politics that when it comes to vote, only religion can cut caste. Now, UP vote has pretty much balanced itself on the fulcrum of caste politics. With what you have done today, many political analysts will assume you have thrown open the entire communal pitch by raking up an issue, by calling Ayodhya Faizabad. You have touched on the raw nerve of so many people who have looked at Ayodhya as the abode of Lord Ram, which is right now something highly communal. And by doing so, let me go back to the cliche which you're always accused of, which is Team B of the BJP. You're trying to polarize this election in favor of the BJP.
Well, the parliamentary constituency is still called Faizabad. See, they have changed the name of Allahabad to Prayagraj. But still the Allahabad High Court name exists. Allahabad Vishwavidyalaya is there. So it is not that. See, we are going UP with a clear mind. We want our share in the UP politics. We are going there for political empowerment of our people. Why should we not be politically empowered? We are taking along with us the OBC brothers, Dalits also along with us. Since several years, these so-called secular parties, they were in power. What did they do for the betterment of the Muslim community? Nothing. They want 90% of the Muslims to vote for them. But even today, there is an empirical data. There are several committees.
So there is also empirical data from Bihar that you entering Bihar culled the chances of the RJD and gave the mandate to the BJP alliance. Correct me if I'm wrong.
False. These are false and
Okay.
baseless allegations. I will give you data. No, you don't have a proper data. Let me correct you.
Please, sir,
we
correct
contested
me.
on 19 seats. We won 5. The rest of the 7 seats were won by the co-ed government. How did
Sir,
we
how much, I want to
manage
ask you,
to
how
see that
much
the
did those
BJP won?
5 seats
Nothing.
impact? But
They
anyway,
don't
it's
have
not
the
about
guts
Bihar.
to defeat the BJP.
It is not about Bihar. This conversation is not about Bihar, but
No.
you and I both know how much did those 5
Let me bring
seats
it to your
impact
notice. One more question.
Please, go ahead.
Well, let me bring to your notice the last MP election which happened in our country, 2019. We contested on 3 seats. One in Hyderabad, where our party president contested.
Right.
One in Bihar, Akhtar Uliman, and one in Aurangabad, where Imtiaz
Yes.
Jalil contested. We won 2 seats in Aurangabad, in Maharashtra. We
Sir, I know the Aurangabad
defeated
history
the
also.
Shiv
We know
Sena
what
and
happened with the
BJP
Shiv Sena.
combined
You and I both
member of
know. You
parliament
and I both
who
know how
was
you
sitting
won
for 22
Aurangabad.
years.
You and I both know, sir, how you won Aurangabad. You know what happened with the Shiv Sena
We could
contest.
defeat-
Okay, but anyway.
How we won?
Sir,
it was
it's
the
a-
people's mandate.
Okay, people's
the people
mandate.
gave us votes. It was
People's
the
mandate,
people's
sir. Okay,
mandate
fine,
that we
fine.
won
It is
the
not
seat
about
in
Aurangabad. I want to bring in.
How
Can I
you
please bring in Guru?
And why did the Congress lose?
Okay. Guru Prakash, I want to bring you in.
Because
Guru Prakash,
then-
but isn't this working out
because
to your
of us.
advantage?
No, everywhere in
Because if
India
you
we
look
have
at
a
AIM, the kind of language which is, especially with what happened today, it's working exactly in BJP's favor, many would say.
Preeti, my previous panelist, Mr. Pathan, he is representing AIMIM and he was also giving moral science lessons on secularism. Let me just do an English translation of the name of his party. It's called Convention for Unity of Muslims and they are sermonizing us on secularism. Isn't it a great disservice to English language?
But isn't it a service to you?
This is just beyond my comprehension. A party that is premised, ma'am, if you can let me complete.
Sir,
a
please.
party that is premised on a unity of Muslim, a party that is premised on unity of Muslim, how can
What
they
about
talk
Shiv
about
Sena and Akali
everyone?
Dal?
That is their hypocrisy. And sir, I did not speak when you were speaking.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
There
Please
is
accord him the
democracy
same.
in this country, sir. Let me speak.
Please
We
accord
heard
him
you
the same
loud and
courtesy,
clear.
sir. He
Now
was
please
patient.
don't interfere. Please don't interfere. And what do you think, Mr. Pathan? Preeti, just a moment. And what do you think, Mr. Pathan, that the Dalits vote, the OBCs vote, the backward segment votes, are they up for grabbing? Do you take them for granted? We have been the soldier of this culture and civilization since the time of Ramayana. Who are you to say that we are taken for granted? Dalit vote, OBC vote, हाँ ले लेंगे, कहाँ जाएंगे ये लोग? Please clear this mindset. Please don't have this hypocrisy. Please don't have this hypocrisy. And now again you are interfering. Please talk on development. Please let us have some constructive conversation around real issues. No one is talking about the people of Uttar Pradesh. Someone is talking about Yadav. And the same party, Samajwadi Party, BJP ki vaccine, Napunsak banane wali vaccine. Now they are giving us lessons on COVID management. How hypocritical is this, Preeti?
Okay.
I seriously don't understand.
No, but okay.
I want conversation.
But Mr. Guru
People
Prakash,
of Uttar Pradesh
sir,
want conversation
sir, the
around
fact
real
is,
development,
how much ever,
infrastructure.
sir, the fact is how much ever you and I might deny, caste does play a big role. Otherwise, your own party would not have paraded your OBC representation the way you have in UP and in the central cabinet. So let's, none the richer. Nobody's the richer here, but I'll come back to you. I know you want to make a point. I'll come back to you. If I can bring in Juhi Singh back into this conversation. Juhi Singh, as we move forward right now and, we look at issues, I want to talk about the fact of Western UP especially, because that area is now being looked at being the game changer, that it will go beyond being divided communally, because no matter what has gone down, be it the Jat Andolan, be it 2017 elections, be it 2019, everyone said there is anger, there is unrest with the Jat farmer of Western UP. They all came together and they voted the BJP. This time round, do you think, like I said, the catharsis of the rural population there is going to be vented and overcome, especially the communal divide?
Preeti, here I agree with Manisha Priyamji that economic discourse is taking place, whether it's the farmers, it's unemployment, it's rising prices, it's the fact that there's young men and women are migrating away from UP, and the fact that government of UP is refusing to recognize any of these problems because there is some sort of bubble of illusion where they think that what they say is correct and what is there in the ground. We have seen unity in Western UP, and you were right, but the people of UP are emotional people. But as somebody else on the panel pointed out, they're also intelligent people. So they are going to take a report card of the Yogi government and also the central government. 7.5 years. What are the schemes which have come in on the ground? What is the actual condition of the aspirational districts? You mentioned one district, one product. Where is it really adding to the income of the people? Where is it a reality? I work in Bahraich, let's say, that's in Kaushambi, that's one of your aspirational districts, and that's really in a bad condition, irrespective of the data which the Niti Aayog puts out on your official forum. So I hope that Yogi Adityanath and the BJP will take some sort of a reality check in the health services. You've done nothing to improve them. I'm glad I'm on this panel.
And you're saying that's going to change what happened in 2019 and 2017?
Preeti, we are going to try to change it because we've already talked about issues, and we are not doing any sort of a symbolism to the work. Kaam bolta hai. We abide by it, and that's going to be our slogan.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I know, Mr. Pathan, I know you want to come in, and so does Mr. Prakash. I want to go back to Manisha Prem for a quick word in, because we're just moving now very quickly to the biggest factors, and one of them, what I raised earlier, Ms. Prem, is the fact that the Western UP belt, no matter what, has always voted on communal lines. 2019, one thought that bahut anger hai farmers mein, they all got together and they stamped the BJP. In terms of COVID, in terms of the farmer crisis right now, or the agitation which is brewing, especially in Western UP, which one would you reckon is actually going to be the decider for 2022?
So I think the UP has 2 or 3 critical questions that are pending, and that is people's mandate. They are going to decide what they do. And I think for Western UP, you've rightly tapped this, whether the farmers' issue will trump any other. And it will also, by the way, mean that all the younger leaders who are sons of science, tall political leaders, their science,
You're talking
they
about
are
Jan
not
Chaudhary.
leading the front. Yes, they are not leading the front. And there is a new political leadership that's taking place. So if economic issues come to the fore, I do understand that it will not just be a challenge or opposer to the current incumbents. Even those established political parties who think they can pose a pan-UP-wide challenge to the current incumbents, the Yogi Adityanath government, they will have to renegotiate terms of power with new farmer power. So this is a contest and a challenge that is open on both fronts. The winners and the losers, established political parties. I may add here, Preeti, that Eastern UP, for example, I know Guruji has been talking about the Vanchit and the Shoshit, but let me tell you that the BJP's victory has been a merger and acquisition strategy. They could not have reached here without these alliances stitched up with the Nishad party, with the Anupriya Patel party, Sonaral Patel ji's daughter, or the Om Prakash Rajbhars. They matter here very much. And I challenge AIMIM leader very much to say that if he can even name the Jati names of 5 of these Vanchit Samaj and Shoshit Samaj that he's talking about,
no,
then
Prem, I don't want to put him in a spot. No, I think that's unfair, ma'am.
So it's
That's
a very
unfair.
difficult election.
That's unfair. No, yeah, I understand, but okay, that's unfair because I'm sure a lot of us on this panel won't be able to do that, and I will not put Mr. Paswan on the spot. I'm not asking him that question. But, I'm going to go back to Varis Pathan because I'm going to take closing comments right now. Mr. Varis Pathan, sir, 2017, fought on 38, lost deposit on 37. You say this time things are going to be different. You say you represent secularism. You say you represent change. Yet, what's seen on ground every time is that you entering a state on a state election favors the BJP.
Well, just let me answer the questions put up by BJP spokesperson, Mr. Paswan. He just said he read about my party's name and he translated them as convention for the Muslims. So why would the Dalit, the OBC and the non-Muslims vote? Let me remind you, we contested the last corporation election in Gujarat. We were just given 40 days. We contested on 35 seats. Out of those 35 seats, 11 seats we gave to our non-Muslim Hindus and brothers. And to your surprise, sir, 7 of our Hindu brothers and sisters won on AIMIM. Kindly translate that, look into it. So why would the Dalits not vote for us? Why would the Brahmins not vote for us? See, we are going there for political empowerment. We are talking about development, and the development work which we have done in our Hyderabad, Telangana, that model we want to implement in UP.
That's why start your campaign. That's why start your campaign from Ayodhya, sir.
5 years down the line, we were just
because you're looking at development. Start your campaign from Ayodhya. Say Faizabad se jalan kyun hoti hai, and you're talking about development.
Why? They are jealous about Faizabad, they are jealous about Aligarh, they are jealous about Allahabad, whatever Muslim name it is, they are jealous about that. So why not? Faizabad still it is a parliamentary constituency, madam. Faizabad is still a parliamentary constituency.
Sir, I'm not denying I'm saying you represent. I'm saying you represent development.
Does not matter at all. Name does not matter at all.
Okay.
By changing names, the people who have lost their lives in COVID second wave will not come back. By changing names, the lakhs of youth who have lost their job will not get their job back. By changing names, Yogi will not become the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh again.
No, you're
because he has totally failed as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh.
Sir, true.
People this time will definitely give a mandate against him.
Sir, that's true, but don't say that. Don't say we are coming to UP for development, because when you kickstart your campaign from Ayodhya, calling it Faizabad, you're looking at making it communal. I agree with everything else. By changing name, nothing happens. But let me go across to Mr. Guru Prakash, with your permission. You know, Mr. Prakash, let's come back to what we were talking about. I'm not going to ask you to name any communities, but the fact is the caste does play a role, and you yourself know you've been able to stitch up a government only on the basis of caste. Anupriya Patel was given a cabinet rank, sir.
No, Preeti, I openly accept the challenge thrown by Madam Priyam, and about the marginalized communities, she asked for 5, I'll give her 6.
Sir, you've got enough time to Google. That's not fair. You've had enough time to Google.
No, ma'am, please, let me complete. You never let me speak.
Sir,
you never let me speak, ma'am.
Okay, please go ahead.
Preeti, this is unfair. No, a question was raised. And this intellectual arrogance, I just dismiss this. I come from the community, I understand the aspirations of the community, and this imagination and this prejudice, this is just beyond my comprehension. I'll give her 6. Dusad, Khatik, Valmiki, Dhobi, Chamar, Musar. I can give you 10-100 lessons. Just sitting in Delhi, you think that you know everything. This is uncalled for. Now coming to this conversation around election, I am going to maintain this, that Bharatiya Janata Party and the people of Uttar Pradesh, they are aware of it, Preeti. Be it 2014, 2017, 2019, all the local body polls, all the urban local governments, the BJP has got resounding mandate from the people of Uttar Pradesh, because they have seen our work.
True.
We don't discriminate. We don't discriminate on the basis of caste. We don't discriminate on the basis of gender. We don't discriminate on the basis of community. Samajwadi Party, ladke hain, ladko se galti ho gayi hai. We believe in real empowerment.
Sir, there are lots of, that's a little rich. Let's not get into that. Let's not get into that.
Look at the infant.
I can quote Sakshi Maharaj also. Let's not get into that.
The real empowerment will destroy Jantar Mantar also.
Preeti, I'm talking about data.
Okay.
Preeti, I'm talking about data. 60,000 bankings that you look at the infant mortality rate, look at the maternal mortality rate. I am here to debate on data, on development, on representation.
All right, okay, sir, you made your point.
I'm not going to do any political rhetoric.
All right, you've made your point. I want to take quick 2 questions. One from Ms. Juhi Singh and one from Manisha Prem. Manisha Prem, you might want to extend an olive branch to Guru Prakash. She's taken it personally, but I'll come back to you. I want to go to Juhi Singh first. You know, Juhi Singh, the fact is, what Guru Prakash quoted there is not far from the truth. Look at local body elections. Look at what happened in West UP. You say, you know, times are changing, the tide is turning. Where is it turning? Did we see it in local body elections? No.
Preeti, we did. We won all the direct elections, the Jila Panchayat Sadas elections. So Guru Prakash is a little delusional, all Bharatiya Janata Party people. He might be talking of the Jila Panchayat elections.
The municipal elections in Western UP you didn't win. And Western UP voted for the BJP.
No. Preeti, we have a Jila Panchayat Sadasya list and we won the elections while the BJP was snatching away clothes of women, putting pressure, using bulldozers, using the district magistrates as their own poll agents.
Yes,
so that they can live with that.
Sir, extend the same courtesy.
You don't have any local standing.
Sir, please extend the same courtesy. Sir, please extend the same courtesy.
You don't have any local standing. Your ministers,
please extend the same courtesy.
He's trying to bully me.
No, it's not about bullying. Ma'am, you are
no, Mr. Prakash, come on, extend the same courtesy. No, everyone heard you out.
No,
everyone heard you out.
Propaganda.
What do you mean propaganda, sir?
No, but she's lying. If she is lying, I cannot allow her to lie.
Miss Singh, please make your point. Can I just, okay, one second. I'm not, okay.
Women's
How
rights.
dare you say that on this panel, Mr. Guru Prakash? You are a BJP spokesperson and you are an educated person and you are...
No, how can you say that, ma'am? Samajwadi Party. Now you are lying. You are making this accusation. You are making this accusation on Bharatiya Janata Party. लड़के हैं लड़कों से गलती हो जाती है. I will say 100 times. I will say 500 times.
Okay, I apologize to both of you, but I'm going to cut this here. Manisha Priyam, I'll just come back to you. A, do you want to, like, maybe... I don't know. I don't think anyone's extending olive branches to anyone, but would you want to make some amends to that question?
No, I think it's an over sentimental reaction. That question of naming the caste was towards the AIMIM, whose representative on the show had said ki Dalit, Vanchit, Shoshit Samaj ke saath wo, and I had asked him specifically. But good that Guru's giving him a coaching lesson. I don't need this lesson because I deal with the ground and I mix up with all communities. And if I'm ever found prejudiced, I'm happy to be interrogated. I'm happy to submit. But that's as much as far as the olive branch is concerned. The hard question to the BJP is that the Vanchit, Dalit, Shoshit Samaj come to them by alliances. The BJP is won majorly by the politics of the dominant caste. There is a particular caste called the Thakurs whose support was with the Samajwadi Party. And with Yogi coming in the leadership position, there has been, from Eastern UP up until Central UP, there has been a consolidation of the Thakurs, which is why you see that there is also a contest to get the Brahmins away.
Right.
The BJP was traditionally said to be the party of the Brahmins and the Banyas. Now Brahmins, it is said, we don't know, it is said they are feeling left out, etc. So Mayawati may be going back to her old ways.
Well, she's done it before. She's going back to her old ways of 2007.
Let me just give me one moment to say that from this, you can see that everybody here has fought with everybody else, which means really, and there are 2 or 3 parties that say they are in the contest but are not even on the screen. I do see that on the ground, this is a multipolar contest, which is not just about caste. Regions are very, very important. And region-specific issues are very, very important. And everybody will fight for whichever issue, whether it's a development plank in Eastern UP, that's going to be very important.
Now I have to get out of this. I don't have the time, but appreciate you all for joining us. I'm sure, it's something we're going to be debating in days to come. Thank you, Mr. Guru Prakash, Mr. Varis Pathan, Juhi Singh, and Manisha Priyam. And let me